What's up again, everybody? With the recent rotation announcement still fresh on our minds, let's take a look at some of the most powerful ramp and turn options open to us in the coming new meta. I'm going to rank these based on power level and flexibility, as well as if they will pan out favorably in the coming meta with the cards that we have left. Keep in mind this video is going up before any major spoilers from the upcoming sets, so if there's a really powerful ramp or churn option in an upcoming set, it will not be found on this list. Let's get started. At number 10, we have Tabaxi Rogue. I'm putting Tabaxi Rogue on here not because I think it's a very strong ramp option, but because it acts as both a ramp option and a ramp deterrent. Tabaxi Rogue could see some play if some of the already popular draw and prep or draw and roll ramp options make their way onto top tier teams. If so, then Tabaxi Rogue packs a decent 1-2 punch of giving you a draw and prep global, as well as free damage if your opponent is running a big ramp engine. Number 9 is Hush. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Hush ramp. The fact that you need to purchase and field 2 characters just to trigger a die prep makes it so painfully slow, but there are some upsides. If you're running a villain team and you have a flippable bat character that can change into a villain when the time is right, then you can make use of the 4-2 topside on Hush and push some damage. The meta after rotation looks fairly slow as of right now, and villains are definitely in, so this one makes the cut. At number 8, we have Pepper Potts. I rank Pepper Potts higher than Hush ramp because you get more immediate payoff from the ability, you get a body in the field, and you only have to purchase 1 piece in order to get it going. It doesn't do a ton by just giving you 1 die extra to roll, but 5 dice is almost always better than 4, and I don't have to keep buying Hush in order to get a bigger and bigger ramp thing going. That being said, this one's also not very powerful as well, but it makes the list. Number 7 is Cosmic Cube. This was almost behind Pepper Potts, but the ability to churn through dice that don't matter to get to the ones that do is just plain stronger than an extra die at the start of your turn. I could see this as a churn option on a heavy attuned team to just get some triggers, though the 3 cost makes it suboptimal for something like super rare Yanti now that rare Cosmic Cube is out, so we shall see how this pans out, but I could see it on an attuned team. Number 6 is Create Food and Water, also known as Cake. If you've never drawn Create Food and Water on turn 3 in a draft and prepped your entire bag, I suggest you should try it sometime. It's pretty awesome. Honestly, this is pretty good even when you're only prepping 2 to 3 dice. Pulling dice out of your bag to guarantee their roll and reroll on the next turn is strong. We quite often pay 1 shield to draw and prep 1 die with Resurrection, so paying 3 to draw and prep somewhere between 2 and 4 is really good. Number 5 is Swarm, and specifically Swarm characters with the keyword Swarm. I'm making a distinction between this Swarm ramp and the next card on my list, mainly because this requires the energy investment into multiple dice for your swarming characters. I rank it so highly because now we have 1 to 2 cost Swarmers in Chwinga, as well as the fact that the slower meta opens up the possibility for Parademons to become a thing. Uncommon Parademon even acts as a win con on top of a form of ramp. I'm looking forward to messing around with Parademons and Chwinga and seeing if you can get enough damage through just by triggering Parademon's ability to make a team. At number 4, we have Darkseid. This is a no-brainer. In fact, some of you are probably wondering why this is number 4 and not higher. Darkseid is a very powerful form of ramp. Unless some crazy bag management gets in the way, he essentially draws your entire bag for you every turn. Combine him with the new Professor X Global and you get consistency and having a sidekick to activate the Darkseid Swarm, as well as staying power. Now your opponent has to KO the sidekick in the field, as well as the sidekick you can pull from your used pile on their turn. The downsides are that this is a 6 cost that kills your ramp early to set it up. He's a villain, which for a ramp option can be a bit of a detriment with all of the focus looking to turn to anti-villain stuff out there. Still, he's so worth running because of how crazy the ramp is. At number 3, we have Heimdall. Yes, HXG edges out Darkseid in my mind. Why? Funnily enough, most aggro teams really aren't looking to draw and roll their entire bag each turn. More often than not, they just need to keep their bag low, their rolling dice count high, and the pressure on. Heimdall is a cheap way to do that. This is definitely a skill-intensive ramp option, as 1 slip up with your bag management means you don't get to use HXG and something like Resurrection together. Still, the low-cost investment is a huge benefit to aggro teams, and while the meta may be slow now, there's always going to be aggro, and I think this fits on aggro lists way better than something like Darkseid, which is very heavy and slow to get to. Alright, at number 2, we have Spot Ramp. This is action-based ramp using the spot and something like Investigation, which is obviously the best option now that Superhero Registration Act, Relaxing have both rotated. Darkseid, Heimdall, and the spot are all very close in my mind, but I give the spot the edge in the current meta, the one we're about to go into, because of the scalability of the ramp that it provides. You can invest 5 energy to draw and roll 4 dice every time you hit Investigation. if the spot gets blanked, you still have investigation as a draw and roll too. You can pay 8 energy to cycle your bag every time you chain investigations together. That's the equivalent of buying a 2-cost spot and 2 3-cost investigations. Not only that, but because the ramp is incremental, meaning that you can use one investigate, do some stuff with the energy that you have, and then use the other investigate, you can do some great things like roll your bag empty with one investigate, use the energy to purchase characters, use another investigate to roll the characters outright, and then field them all on the same turn. On top of that, attune is still a keyword, and investigate is an action, so there's some further built-in synergy with attune, investigation, and something like the unblockable Yanti. Definitely multifaceted, this one, and why it gets the nod over HXG and Darkseid. Alright, in the number 1 spot we have Mimic. Mimic ramp provides so much. It provides ramp, combo potential, a backup win condition, churn. It's pretty insane how much this can actually do. Mimic is most often paired with a mask energy fixer. In the new meta, this will be Billy Club, which coincidentally is a decent control piece that we'll talk about in another video, and the rare Professor X Global that fields a sidekick from used. Using Mimic ramp well means ramping on your turn and ramping on your opponent's turn, all while fielding a board of chump blockers, which thins out your bag. The team building investment is high, as it makes up 3 cards on your team of your 8 total, but the return is huge flexibility. If you need a few points of damage to go through and you can field a Mimic, copy the stats of one of your bigger characters rather than a sidekick and push for lethal. I placed this one first over the spot also because of what the meta could look like. If action-based win cons, ramp, and removal continue to be prevalent in the new meta, and spoiler alert, they do now more than ever, then Common Scarlet Witch will be a staple to most teams to slow those down to a stop. A form of ramp that doesn't get countered by Scarlet Witch means that they're wasting a slot by putting her on her team because it's not teched against you, it's teched against other matchups. Couple that with all of the other benefits I mentioned and you have my reasoning as to why Mimic ramp is currently the most powerful form of ramp going forward into the new meta of modern age. Alright, so there are my top 10 ramp options. What do you guys think about the ramp options that are available to us going forward? Do you like my list? Do you think that they are in an appropriate order, or would you move some around? Leave your top 10 in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.